Hi, hello, and welcome to Quantum Healing Hands Tarot. So, if you don't recognize the image on my hands, I am going to do a reading about how to become as successful as Mr. Beast. He is one of the top, if not the top YouTuber, and truthfully, he's a philanthropist. He's not just like doing bad pranks, and like he doesn't have a bad bone in his body, basically. So I thought he'd be a great person to do a reading after. So if you already know which pile you want just from looking, go ahead and select down in the description box the timestamp. If you need a little bit more help, let's get into some breathing. All right, I like to take 3 deep breaths. All right, so now that we're nice and relaxed, we can go ahead and look at the piles. I have 4 piles today. In the first one, we have a treble clef. In pile 2, we have a trailer with a very similar Mr. Beast symbol. In pile 3, we have a peanut butter and jelly holding hands. And in pile 4, we have a sunflower. So the technique I use to pick a pile is, because sometimes I will have a preference over like a patch or something, or a number. So I close my eyes and I ask my intuition which pile to pick. And very commonly I will see a number come forward in my mind's eye, as if I was like looking at a light and I closed my eyes and that shape was kind of there. So that's the technique I use. So it's kind of foolproof for me. I always say just go with your instinct, and that's like the first answer. So once you figure it out, click the timestamp down below and I'll meet you there. Hi, pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me today. So Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber on YouTube right now. That's so funny. He has 166 million subscribers to his channel, and that is just on one of them. He does a lot of other things, but my favorite thing is that he is a philanthropist and he gives back. He literally will give 100 people, who are blind, will help them see, who are deaf, help them hear, give them water. Like, he does amazing things. So obviously I'm a fan, but the truth is he is very intelligent with his business tactics. And so I thought everyone could try and succeed like him. Maybe not like at YouTube or anything, but at your own goals in life. So let's find out how to succeed like Mr. Beast. So you chose the treble clef. I won't make any too bold assumptions right now about the meaning of that. We'll look at that at the end. So the first card is always a great place to start because it's where are you at right now in life? And the next one is where do you want to go? So the first card we have here is the Sunstone. This is a card about kind of when you don't know where you're going in life and you can't see the way. It's just kind of saying like to remain faithful and hopeful, because what the Sunstone is even on a completely cloudy day where they couldn't see the sun in the sky, if they held up this stone and looked through it, they were able to find the direction of the sun within 1 to 5 degrees. So it helped them, get through really dark times, horrible storms in the ocean. And so that's where you're at right now. If you're just trying to find your way to shore, you're trying to kind of get through something right now. You're probably trying to end a cycle or get out of something or just through something. And so the Sunstone makes a lot of sense for where you're at right now, because Awaz is the horse card, but it's about flow. It's about kind of like naturally going with things, like in the way that a rider has to like learn to walk with their horse. You can't be bouncing opposite. It'll be really uncomfortable. So where you're wanting to go is that flow of life, flow of creativity, allowing, going with the natural ebbs and flows of life. Once I started learning that everything is a pendulum in the way of like, good times are great, but they're not going to last forever. And that's not catastrophic. That just means like the party has to end sometime. People have to go home, they have to go to sleep, you have to rejuvenate, and that's okay, because those times when you kind of are taking a back seat to life only helps you appreciate it more when it really, really starts happening for you. So I think if you don't know where you're going right now, I could completely understand how you're like, well, I would like to go somewhere. I just want to know where to go. And I think I can help you with that. So I find it kind of funny though, that this is the like desired, and this is the like current, because this is actually about being more present. So it's kind of this thing of learning to dance in the rain, not waiting for the storm to pass. That's the perfect statement for these two cards here. So the next card is, what is an unforeseen obstacle? I just think that this is the perfect card for here, because if you're in the spot where you don't know where you're going and you can't see the sun reversed as your obstacle, or even just like your unknown obstacle, is that it's like I was saying, like you want to be able to be in the present. And it's this weird dynamic of learning to be happy even when it's raining, even when the sun's not out. It's about celebrating and knowing that you're going to make it, not having all these terrible, what am I trying to say? Like, rather than just pessimistic rather than optimistic in these times. Like when in dark times, you can't be thinking everything's going to fall apart, because that's not going to help you find a way out. Like you probably have experienced some setbacks that are maybe making you feel depressed. Like the sun reversed is kind of a depression card, because it always reminds me of like seasonal affective disorder. And that's just where you're not getting enough sun. So this could literally, that's a great tip for anybody, is to increase your vitamin D, no pun intended, but literally it helps your absorption of the sun. And also go outside, but I know not everyone is living places where there's a lot of sun. So the obstacle to get to being in the present moment is understanding that you have to, this is the perfect card for the middle, because the way to get from here to there is to be in the now and know that sometimes life sucks. Like I was saying, it's a pendulum. But my favorite part that a lot of people don't focus on is, if you're in the down, what does that mean? You're going up. So embrace that. Start thinking of all the things of where you want to go. It's an interesting dynamic of like not getting caught up in the future and getting upset that it may not be here. But in the now, enjoy what you have, be grateful for where you're at, and also believe that the future you want is entirely possible for you. The sun reversed also, last note, is it's kind of this like, be honest with yourself. It's kind of that energy of like, I don't think you want people to know how sad you are. And just be honest with yourself that you are maybe not exactly where you want to be. But let's find out. The next card I asked is, what are your strengths? I'm never gonna give you rough information without giving you some kind information too. So to me, these two cards, even though they're in reverse, the way I'm reading them is like, it's your kind of your strength against them. Like, I feel like with the Traveler reverse, this is like, you know, when you're about to take a misstep and you're like, whoa, like that, like person who's able to balance and like not fall off the edge. You're really, really good at that. And I think anytime you've ever not listened to your intuition, I feel like you witnessed the damage all around you. And so I feel like you're very aware. So that could be why maybe it feels hard to be like celebrating where you're at right now. I feel like, you just almost slipped off an edge and you like saved yourself and now you're sitting there. Not a lot of people are going to congratulate themselves on the mistake they just made and almost killed themselves. But it's like, no, but you are so strong that you saved yourself. You made it through that. I think, it's a little dark right now. You don't really know where you're going, but you have this strength of when things aren't working out, you know it and you feel it. You know when you're not listening to your inner voice. It's like a dark night and you're walking and your intuition keeps saying, I don't know, I feel like you're about to reach a cliff. We should really go the other way. And you're like, why do I keep thinking that? And you just keep going forward and then you almost slip off the cliff. So it's that sort of thing of like, you have had a lot of close calls. And so that's a strength because the truth is you sharpen that muscle. You become stronger with that. Eventually it's so natural for you. And I think that's why that's your strength, is because you probably see it a lot in other people. You're like, oh, I've made that mistake before. And the next mistake is trying to share what you've learned from your mistake, because oddly, people don't want to hear how you got out of they don't want to hear how you got out of your dark hole. Oh my gosh, sorry. If you fell off of a cliff and you saved yourself and they're in the middle of hanging off a cliff, they don't want to hear you telling them, oh my God, that same thing happened to me. Yes, so scary, huh? How do you feel right now? Like, they don't want that. So you got it. Yeah, baby, you got it. Okay. So this is your outline. Okay, this is what we got going. This is kind of your personality board, I'll call it. So where do you want to go? You want to end up in a place where you're far more present, and probably just like even literal things of like eating with the seasons is actually like really good for your body. And so going with the flow of those things. And I feel like maybe that's something your intuition has been telling you. So that's pretty cool. So, but the card I have here is the overall theme to how we're going to do step by step. Okay, so the Tower reversed, just as I look at this more and just kind of let it sink in, this makes a lot of sense to me, because the reading is how to succeed like Mr. Beast. Specifically, the man who really knew how to push all bullshit aside and really focus on what he wanted to do. I think there's a lot that needs to kind of change in your life, and I feel like there's a huge fear. I feel like this is something your intuition has been telling you for a while. Some big change that understandably you are probably pretty afraid of taking. And that just it makes a lot of sense to get to where Mr. Beast is. I don't think he just let the bad things in his life. I'm pretty sure anytime, truthfully, I mean, I've watched plenty of interviews on like the people he's had, and you know, his friends will sometimes start switching in and out. And it's like, because if someone isn't 100% there for him and behind him, you gotta go enjoy your own life. He will help support you in your own endeavors, but first and foremost, you're there for the YouTube channel. So I think for you to succeed like this, to get out of this kind of fogginess and like actually go forward, I'm sure it would feel amazing to go forward at the rate he did. Like, he just knew to like keep making videos, and that's the truth. He listened to his intuition. He wasn't afraid to try something new. And I think anytime something wasn't working out, he removed them. So I'm going to do some kind of step-by-steps. So this can either be over days, weeks, months, or years, kind of whatever is the timeline that this is going to work out for you. But I'm going to pull a bunch of cards from my bicycle deck, and that will lay out the next, how many piles should I do? Yeah, 6 is what I was getting. So I'll do 6 piles. And then, you know, you dole that up how it works for you. Yeah, if you're feeling lost and depressed and you're kind of trying to get to this place of understanding that the best way to live life is like actually in the moment, then yeah, you're going to have to say goodbye to some things. So, I mean, literally, this is the 2 of Swords reversed. I take the back of the cards. So the 2 of Swords reversed is just indecision, literally. Like I'm saying, like you're kind of stuck somewhere right now, feeling really unsure of how to move forward. I think you do have big dreams. I think anyone clicking on this video really had the intentions of being someone successful in what they do. So the Sunstone just tells me that you you might not even know where you want to go yet. 10 of Pentacles coming up next is just saying, like, I really feel like you need to know who is worth keeping around in your life. Like, I'm really curious what this is that you are running towards, that you're wanting to kind of be present in. You know, what sort of creative project, what sort of business. I think I was kind of, yes, I was. Mr. Beast doesn't keep people around him that he doesn't want to be around him forever. And if anything changes, he, you know, removes them. He fires them or whatever. And if people don't really have anything bad to say about him, it may not suit their, what they want in life. But you need to make a decision on something, cut something out. And I think that could, okay, that could just be a family, because 10 of Pentacles is family. And it's supposed to be like, you know, good family, like completed, happy family. It does have to do with finances too. So I'm curious to succeed. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Beast never let any money just go that was unaccounted for. Because when you do this, when you remove the people who don't need to be there, that I think you've intuitively been knowing that they shouldn't be, you will see the quality of your work go up when you remove the crap from your life, the people who aren't working for you, whatever you have to decide between. And it's a big decision, but this decision, the fact that this is the 10 of Pentacles is telling me literally, like, to succeed as big as Mr. Beast, you have to literally cut out any of the crap. And the reason why I came up with this idea is because I was watching all these different interviews on him. It was like a compilation of it. And he just keeps saying it's not the amount of videos, it's the quality. And a lot of times people aren't willing to make something because they're afraid of it being bad. And you have to like kind of get past that. So, because the more you make, the better you'll get, just period. That's fact. So, I think once you have this understanding, because the Two of Wands, this is you understanding where you're going. Like, this is the sun is actually starting to come through the clouds. Like, you're actually going to be able to start seeing where to go. You're actually going to have no problem getting through. Yeah. Kind of step 4 along this timeline is just, once you have made this decision, I feel like it's kind of maybe the first step is just knowing what you're going to decide between, and then go about things as if everything is the way you want it to be. And I think you will notice the quality of this person, and it will be very easy for you to plan and move forward. So this is where the step comes in, that it's going to be actually about changing your behavior, because this is like about like breaking free of your mental challenges. And I feel like it's just like you have to get past not listening to your intuition. If it tells you to do something, listen. How many times do you have to really, really suffer and get into this depression? And like, I learned I had to listen to my intuition because I dislocated my knee when I was like 21 from an incident where my intuition kept telling me to do something and I ignored it, and I ended up having an accident where I dislocated my knee. It's that's basically the truth of the story. And I learned from that day forward, when that voice comes from inside me of telling me what to do, when I'm in a moment of needing to make a decision, listen to it. The ego will always come in and be like, no, because your intuition's just giving you an answer, and your ego is reasoning it of why you shouldn't do what your intuition just said. Your intuition's just an answer. It's not a thought process. It's not like, well, the reason why you should do this, like that's your ego. That's your ego reasoning things. So last step. This last step is, I think, going to be the most important with this entire success, right? Because the 10 of Swords reversed is telling me you are going to be going through a lot over the next 6 months or 6 years. I would be really surprised if this was the next 6 days. But seek help. Find someone who can help you kind of work through all the pain and everything that's going to be stirred up while you're having to cut people out. That's going to make you probably feel a lot. Maybe feel really bad or guilty or what have you. So in a time of feeling like you don't know where you're going, and maybe you've struggled in the past with listening to your intuition and kind of where to go, I feel like you have learned, from probably getting hurt, slipping off one too many cliffs, and this is just about being in the now. And when you're in the now, you're going to be very aware of who's around you, and you're going to be very aware of the quality of the things you're making. It's going to be so much easier to envision your future when you're present. And when you're present, you will be relieved of so much mental anxiety. But know that your body keeps score of every horrible thing that has ever happened to you, every emotional pain. It gets stored up. So this is about finding a way to release that. Because to truly succeed, you have to be at your healthiest. And I think you really can. I think you can go big. I think you can succeed, because what I'm seeing is a fighter. I'm seeing someone who has been through enough hard times to know, like, there is a way out. I think you just are trying to figure out how. And surprisingly, it's just about being aware of what's around you. And I think it'll be really easy to make decisions. Like, how do the people in your life make you feel? Simple. So before I go, I want to grab you a quantum healing code. I have a bunch already written out, so I'm going to grab one. All right, this is perfect. So this is a quantum healing code. They work like the placebo effect in the way that if you believe in it, it works. They work with the way that the universe is kind of like made up of math and numbers. And so when you write down this code, 84 space 72 space 167, this is for self-love and self-worth to increase to optimum healthy levels. I think this is absolutely the most perfect quantum healing code for you, because when you have self-love and self-worth at optimum healthy levels, you're able to make decisions so much easier. So much easier. You aren't being riddled with guilt and shame because you know your value, and so your decisions will be made from a place of self-worth, not from guilt. So write this down, go ahead and absorb that. And pile 1, that's where I'm going to leave it. I think this is absolutely the answer for if you want to know how to succeed like Mr. Beast. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you liked it, I would love for you to give it a little thumbs up. And if you loved it, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my channel. It's been an absolute honor every single time I get to channel your energy. And just, I hope to see you in future readings. Have a great day. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, Mr. Beast is, I think, the highest subscribed channel on YouTube. It's like 166 million or something like that. And his success has come from consistency and dedication to improvement. So I wanted to see how you could succeed like Mr. Beast. So let's go ahead and look at your cards. For starters, you chose the Mr. Beast themed trailer. All right, so the first card is where you're at. All right, the Sun. This is kind of all about like seeking your truth, kind of not caring what people are going to say about you, just staying true to who you are. And then where you want to go. So Swallow. So she is also the Sun, actually, which I find very interesting that that's where you're at and where you are wanting to go. Because this is kind of about like this talks about the story of the Sun and how, you know, every day it's being chased by 2 wolves, which like goes to the night, but they're actually described as mockery and hate. And to me, that's kind of like a symbol of what you're running away from, of just trying to like do what's true to you. Like, I can only imagine what that was like for Mr. Beast in the beginning, of like sitting around all day making YouTube videos when YouTube was definitely not like cool. So, but he knew what he wanted. He found his truth, because this one is actually about living in your truth and knowing that that is what is going to set you apart from others. And I think that's kind of what you're wanting. I think you want to embrace yourself. I feel like you want to feel stronger and ready to go into battle. Far more the goddess energy than just the running away from other people. Like, truth is the most important thing. So when you're in trying times, it's like, if you're always telling the truth, you never have to worry. You never have to remember your lies, and you're always authentic. And that, I think, is a very accurate connection to what Mr. Beast has done in his success, is he's truthful. Like, so much so that he's like, oh, I put all my money back in, and he's not lying to us. We see it in the quality of his videos. So the next card is, what is an unforeseen obstacle? So the Wheel of Fortune, this is, oh, that's funny. It literally kind of looks like a sunburst, but I'm noticing the moon, because like the Wheel of Fortune is all about cycles and kind of just understanding when you're up, you'll go back down. When you're down, you're going to go back up. And if this is a challenge for you, I could really see that in times when things aren't going your way, you could really start to feel hopeless. And I think it's important to know every effort is getting you somewhere. Every effort is worth something and will add up over time. Like, Mr. Beast just made a ton of videos in the beginning of just whatever. He just kept trying. And I think that's kind of what this is saying, is like, when things don't go right, just be okay that it's going to be a cycle. If you're down, that means you're going to go back up. But this is just saying, like, you could struggle with that over time. Yeah, that sort of like mockery and hate story is coming up of, I think you don't want to feel like people are judging you or throwing knives at you kind of thing. Like, you're like, I just want to live my life and be myself. And to get to that level of success, you have to actually not care about what other people think. Just know when life is handing you opportunities, take them, because sometimes that door does stop knocking. So let's find out your strengths, though. I'm never going to knock you down without trying to lift you back up. So with the Chariot as your strength, which I'm really happy for, is that you do have that ability to keep going forward. And I felt like there was a but there. You have the ability to go forward, but sometimes it is about admitting when you've made a wrong turn, kind of thing. But like I said, it's just about being truthful. Because if you're being honest with yourself, you won't struggle with being like, oh, damn, I turned down the wrong street. Hold on, let's reverse. Like, it doesn't always have to be catastrophic when things go wrong. Your strength has always been questioning, kind of like, is this where I want to go? But I think there's a strong understanding and need to know the difference between like your intuition. Like I always say in the intro of my videos, like, your intuition is the first answer. Your ego is the thing that comes in and tries to explain away that first answer. And so the Chariot, I think that you know how to channel your energy. I think it's just, this whole thing so far is just understanding cycles. And so I think, I don't think Mr. Beast just goes 100% all year round. I think he has cycles, he has schedules. Okay, so the next card, what we're going to do next is I'm going to pull a card, and this will be the overall theme to your step-by-step. Of course, Wheel of Fortune reversed. Okay, so yeah, I think this is where I was getting that, like the Wheel of Fortune is just kind of needing to accept. Remember when I was like, there's a but here? It's just about accepting that you made a wrong turn. If you can just accept that, you will go down the correct street so much faster than being like, no, 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 I know where I'm going. It's like, do you? So oh, right. So let's get into the steps. So first step. So these steps can be in like months or years, whatever timeline is kind of relevant for you and what this is talking about. So the King of Wands is like the last card in the deck. So to me, this is saying like, go start where you're at and just go backwards. Literally, like park the car, figure out where you made the wrong turn and go backwards, because there is just no sense in being like, no, I'll figure it out if I just keep going forward. It's like, it's okay sometimes to backtrack. It's okay to not always be right. I think you probably really, really like to be right, because I mean, nobody wants to be wrong, but this to me is kind of like embracing when you've made the wrong choice, kind of. It's 5 of Swords here. Yeah, so there may be something that you kind of were... Yeah, that's the energy. It's just the like... Because the 5 of Swords is like trying to win just for the sake of winning. And it's like, that's what I mean. Like, don't just... I think it's okay to say that you've made a wrong turn somewhere, and that's going to be the best thing for you to get back on the road. Yeah, there's, because the 10 of Cups to me is like your morals. Like, it's usually more represented by like perfect family, but like this is kind of to me like where your standards are at in what you want to do and where you're going in life. So I think these steps you're taking to be super successful, reflect on your morals and just kind of making sure everything is lining up. Don't be working with people that truly you don't think they're good people. Like, I think that's a very important step along the way. And plan. The next step after you've figured out where you want to go, plan. Plan for a new future. Plan for a new self. Take those small steps, because the King of Pentacles is a very, very slow energy, but like the best kind of slow. Like, this is the tortoise and the hare, and the tortoise has won. It's such a good, successful, very well organized card. And so this is just saying like, get organized and know where you're going. I think once you can do all this, kind of take backtrack where you're at and kind of see if you're still lined up with your morals, I think finding your creative project that's going to take you where you want to go will come so much easier. It will appear so much brighter, because I think, again, it's this thing of like it being nighttime and you being mad that the sun isn't there. Like, sometimes things take its own course, sometimes things take its own time. And what this is saying, after kind of backtracking, being aware of your actions and your morals, plan it out. I think you'll really figure out what's on your heart and where you want to go. You will, because when you're doing what you truly love, like look at Mr. Beast, like he's doing what he loves. Like, that's what this kind of reminds me of like, yeah, he just did YouTube videos at first, but now he's like a philanthropist. He literally will like give blind people sight and deaf people the ability to hear. Like, the man is working miracles, and I see that you have that ability to give back that much and care that much. It's just about being aware of everything you're doing right now. So, so I'm supposed to be picking 6 cards for your 6 steps, but you got 3 extra. But so for your 6th step, which to me is kind of, besides your 3 extra, this is kind of like the completion is, 3 of Pentacles is about like finding your group. Like, you know, look at Mr. Beast. He has his people around him who he can trust. And they're the same people, because he can't just be switching in and out friends. If someone isn't working out in his group, he finds the weak link. There's a reason why he's so successful. It's because he examines everything that's going on. He's aware of all of his steps. And I think once you have done this stuff, kind of your final major step in your achieving your goal is finding your group of people. Like what this just made me think of with the trailer is like, maybe you want to be somebody who's like living out on the road or going and doing some, maybe not something that big, but like going and doing something with a trailer, going out on the road, but like you don't want to do this by yourself. Like maybe you want to, you know, vlog a whole life of living on the road and stuff. Like find a group of people to do this with, and I think you like will really benefit with that. All right, so your 3 bonus steps are once you have these friends, you will feel so much more ready to plan. You will feel so much more confident about setting in order that plan, because you know you're not having to do it 100% on your own. Like you have this drive, but I think you really could benefit from the people around you, because when, you know, life is on a down, that's very natural to get sad and depressed and feel like it's all over. But these people will help you continue and like, you know, show you the plan and be like, no, remember where we're going and all we've succeeded at so far. Holy shit. 3. Interesting. So there's going to be an important step here that I didn't even like see coming, of like, it's kind of like when you've made it to a certain point in an adventure, when you're having to kind of like look back on all the people who, you know, all the casualties along the way, all the friends you've lost. Because I really feel like before you go any further, before you reach that level of success, it's kind of accepting what's hurting you and letting it go. Because to keep going, you can't have any extra emotional baggage. Ooh, check out my emotional baggage reading if you haven't. I literally just, the reading before this is all about how to get rid of emotional baggage, and that's what this is saying. So let's get your last step. All right. I think I've been saying, there's a few things here about planning. 2 of Pentacles is more like time management, but it is about balance and just weighing out your options. And I think by this point, once you are able to kind of work through all the emotional baggage, I feel like the coins in your hand will you'll become very aware of which burden in your life weighs more, which road has a bigger chance of success. I think, you know, the point of this video is for people who want to succeed big. And I don't think Jimmy, the individual also known as Mr. Beast, thinks in small numbers at all. Everything is about bigger and better. And I think you have just been learning to weigh up things. Because if you can't, like, this card is a lot about indecision. And if you're stuck in these indecision cycles, like, analysis paralysis. I always say you don't what if yourself off the side of a cliff. What if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? Like, there's so much that you could what if for good and positive, and that's just, I think, the final step of succeeding here for you is always envision what the best could be. This is an amazing reading, pile 2. Yeah, slow and steady, going up that hill, like just, ooh, also, I don't usually plug my readings a lot, just when it's very, actually kind of relevant. Running up that hill is a reading of mine as well. Just kind of see what milestone you're at. I have a lot of readings. My readings are always kind of about self-improvement. And so if that's what you're needing and you're really wanting to succeed like Mr. Beast, then those readings are for you. So pile 2, that's where I'm going to leave it. You're the sun. You are a goddess. You are beautiful. If I didn't talk about it, the sun in Viking culture is actually represented by a woman, when in most cultures it's represented by a man. I think this is just saying, like, you are a life giver. What you're wanting to do is going to help people. Mr. Beast doesn't just make videos of exploding trains and buses. He does, but he's also giving back, and I really think you have an aspect of that in you. So don't lose sight of that. So pile 2, thank you so much for joining me. If you like this reading, I would love for you to give it a little thumbs up. That lets me know the reading resonated somewhere. And if you loved it, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my channel. It would be amazing to become the Mr. Beast of tarot readers. I'm going to be the first tarot reader to, I don't know, is there any tarot readers over 1 million? We're going to find out. And if not, I will be the first one. So see, we just have to set our dreams in order and go. So thank you, pile 2. Thanks for believing in me. I hope to see you in future readings. Have a great day. Bye. Hi, pile 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. So Mr. Beast, one of the biggest, if not the biggest YouTube channel. He is all about just making things better, bigger, better, more fun, giving back, positivity, and it's just overall a great guy, great channel. And I wanted to help you know how you could succeed big like Mr. Beast in your life. So you chose the peanut butter jelly time. Must be jelly because jam don't shake. So the little guys will go over here. All right, so the first card is where you are at right now. And the next card is where you're going, or where you're wanting to go. Wow, this is really powerful. So you have the void here is where you're at, which is like endless possibility. This is literally saying, like, you're the barren field, or barren's so not the right word, so sorry. You're the empty field ready to be planted with seeds. Like, you can become anything. What's kind of cool is this is literally saying, like, your fate is not set in stone yet. Like, you are not you're kind of at this like great pivotal point where you can see all the roads ahead around you, and there's like all these different options. And so that could be kind of overwhelming. But what's kind of cool is no matter what direction you take off in, you are going to end up where you want to be, because that's life. Even when you're going in the total opposite direction, you know, like a globe, you would eventually come back around and actually still end up where you're supposed to. So where you're wanting to go, this card represents this is about like kind of the breath of life. So to me, this is, if you're in this void, this is kind of like before the baby's born. And once the baby's born, it like takes that breath in. I think that's where you're wanting to go. I feel like you're kind of in this limbo area, and I think you really want to see action. I think you want to see movement and creation, and that's really good. That's good. That's the best place to be. It's kind of like a race car driver who is like at the start line, you know, and they're like revving the car. Like, you're excited, you're ready to go, and I'm really excited for you. Like, my favorite way this card is described as is like finding order in chaos. And that is very Mr. Beast of like, he literally finds order in chaos. Like, how does he come up with the craziest videos, and yet they are so perfectly designed and scripted and organized, and like how he can do so much in a 10-minute video blows my mind. But he keeps people completely entrenched, and I think you kind of enjoy that. It's kind of like the chaos of like a peanut butter and jelly mixing together, because to some people that's total chaos, but to some people that's perfection. So let's go ahead and look a little further. The first card up I have, or next card, is your unforeseen obstacles. So yeah, definitely the very Mr. Beast. The beginning is always about moderation, patience, balance. That can definitely be the hard part, is kind of knowing that just because you want your food to cook faster doesn't mean you can turn up the stove higher. It'll actually burn it rather than cook it quicker. That is going to be the hard part for you, is as the void is continuing to stir and create something, you could become pretty impatient of when's it your turn, when's the time. And I promise you, your time is coming. It's that thing of you have to believe your time's coming. A lot of people, because it's like I hear someone saying like, well, what about for the people it doesn't happen for? It's like, I promise you, they either gave up or weren't trying to improve. The whole point of life is to do better than you did yesterday, not do exactly the same thing you did yesterday and expect for better results. Something that just came to me is I'm getting the impression that you want to go in life, you want to succeed in a way that your ancestors didn't, whether it was your grandparents or parents, aunt, uncles, whatever, what have you, whoever came before you. I feel like you really want to succeed in a way that they haven't. And so I see that. It is going to be about learning the patience, but so I've asked what your strengths are. Ooh, look at you go. Literally strength and the magician. Those are your strengths. So even though your struggle will be patience, that's only because you have seen what you can create. And I feel like you're somebody who, like, the second you put your mind to something, it manifests. And so when you're kind of on to a new project, like if you're trying to succeed as big as Mr. Beast, like that is not something that is going to happen overnight. Like, I think he said he's been doing it I think he's been on the channel overall for like 14 years and like going hard as Mr. Beast for like 7. Like, that's a long time. But it was patience. It was consistency. It was not believing that his future was set in stone. You have a strength that is, you know, something that a lot of people want, probably everybody. The Magician is an amazing card because you think of something and it appears in your hand. That's how other people see you. They're like, you don't even have to try. And it's like, that's not true. You do try. You're just a little bit more talented than other people. And I think something else that people would really be, I wanted to say like envious of like, not only are you strong, but you're gentle. Not only do you succeed, but you don't rub it in people's faces. Like, you actually have no desire to make other people feel like you have something they don't. In fact, you actually have this energy about you of like, one of your strengths is you succeed at things so that you can show other people the way. Like that's something that you really, really care about. Of like, you know, elephants are herd animals. I don't think you want to be alone. But it's going to be really important then to bring in people who are supportive and good for you. Yeah, you have a big dream. And what's cool is you're in this place of, it's kind of like, what I'm seeing is like, you just have two plain pieces of bread right now. You could make any sandwich in the world. It can be a peanut butter and jelly, which is truthfully one of my favorite sandwiches. But you could go for complex. Just know that everything takes time and patience. Because I think a lot of what comes to you in life kind of comes to you very quickly and easily. It's this interesting thing of like, I know that to manifest things, you actually have to be in a much more relaxed state. And that's what I'm sensing, that when you're in a relaxed state, things come to you very easily. But I think you're going to discover something that is very, very important to you. And, you know, like I said, like, I think you really want to give back. I don't think you just want to make crazy YouTube videos about trains exploding. I think you want to do kind of how the Beast philanthropy of like giving blind people their sight, things like that. Like, you're a good person. You have, you've overcome a lot. And so I can 100% understand and see how you want to, sometimes I get caught up in my words, but it's because like a new thought will come in and I'll be like, what? To me, this is like the what's the word? Endless possibilities. And this is the universe actually working for you. So to me, this is like before the universe has started, and this is like it all coming together. So the next card I have is the main theme to the step-by-step to accomplish this. So interesting. I feel like this happened in one of the other piles. It was like their strength, and also then they got it reversed for their step-by-step theme. So the way that you're going to get to this ultimate success, like what came to me when I first put this card down was like, maybe you want to do something like YouTube. Maybe it's something where you want to communicate and talk to people. So the Magician reversed is actually kind of saying like, are you doing what you actually want to do? Stop and reflect before you keep moving forward. Are the choices you're making right now what you're trying to manifest, this big opportunity? Like, I really feel like something new has kind of come into your mindset. You've kind of come up with this new idea, and this card it's not initially saying like what you're coming up with is wrong. It's just be very aware of what you're selecting. Like I literally have heard Mr. Beast say like, this is not something he would remotely suggest to anyone to do, but he throws himself 100% into his YouTube channel. And so this is kind of just saying like, just be aware of the patience you're going to need. And because most of the things that have come to you have been through skill, and you're just very naturally talented and intelligent. But this next thing is, it's just like, be careful what you wish for. And these are never actually negative things. It's just being aware that I think what you're going to go after is a little more chaotic than other jobs. All right, so I'm going to pull cards from my bicycle deck. All right, so the Magician is reversed here as your main theme for step-by-step how to succeed like Mr. Beast. So yeah, I want to figure out, so these are going to be, I'm going to pull 6 cards that will either be like 6 months, could be 6 years. It's just kind of the timeline of what works for you. This could be like, 6 different chapters of your life. So the first card. So I don't usually mention the travel with this card, specifically air travel. Because I don't like when I feel like very common things of people being like, you might be moving soon. When it's like, yes, every once in a while you'll find somebody who's moving, but I think there's so much more symbology to talk about when we're doing these big general readings. So the first step in trying to succeed with this big life adventure, I think it's finally kind of time to, like what I just saw was like, it's time to turn on the jets in the hot tub. Like, it's time to get things moving. I think you have everything you need. Everything's ready and good to go. All you need to do is kind of flip on the switch, because the Eight of Wands is a fast moving card. So this to me is saying, and to me, a prepared card. Like, you're ready for the change. You're ready to take on this thing that I think you've been thinking about and you've been maybe fantasizing about. It may be a little new, a little chaotic, but that's exciting. Oh, heck yes. With the Three of Wands here, as your next step to succeeding, big like Mr. Beast, I think is kind of an obvious one of planning, but the Three of Wands is bigger than just like the Two of Wands, which is like, future planning. Like, the Three of Wands is like, you are getting prepared. You are packing the bags. You are getting everything out and ready to make this shit happen. I think you have been wanting to start and create something for a while. And if you were looking for a sign, this is your sign. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Just being a leader in your own life with this, believing in yourself. Like, the King of Wands is, oh my God, they're all wands. This is an entrepreneurial job, just like Mr. Beast. Like, this is something you actually, like, this being the last card in, I almost said in the Zodiac, last card in the tarot. This is, to me, like the most completed of it all. Kind of, look how tired he looks. But, you put in the work. You will reap the rewards. So, all right, next step is finding the balance, finding the time, finding the time management. Like, the Two of Pentacles is all about balance and just weighing up your options. I think you know whatever this, like, Mr. Beast knows that his life is chaotic, but he had to make those choices. And I think he's learned over time. Like, recently I saw that he lost a bunch of weight. He was changing his priorities. And I think after you get this in motion, you really start investing logically on the Enterprise, not like Star Trek, but you're an entrepreneur. You're going to create something very, very valuable. Everything you envision comes to life. So right now, yeah, you're tapping into a talent I don't think you have yet, like you have in the past. If I didn't talk about that already, the Magician Reverse talks about that. Like, you may not be aware that there's a whole spiritual part of you that you could be really accessing for good. Like, you very naturally create things when there's no sweat off your back. But the second it's something you want, it's like, so. I feel like some of the other piles kind of oddly, like, the steps have reminded me very similar of each other, of just this, like, get going, plan it out, believe in your strengths, time management, and move on from the crap. Understand you do have what you need in front of you, but I think there's a tiny little element of 3 spilled cups that you could really embrace the 2 upright cups, which is about your passion, which is about the people who care about you, which is about priorities. You know, I feel like maybe you've had to walk away from old friendships or things that didn't work, and maybe every once in a while it kind of bums you out. But this next step is to help you move on, because I don't think Mr. Beast sits around thinking about all the friends he used to have that worked at his company that are no longer there. So this is cool. When you have the Ace of Swords here, victory. Like, your next step will be embracing what you've started, because I think once you make it through these steps, the universe is going to hand you that gift. It's going to be like that aha moment of like, oh, okay, I get it. You're going to know exactly who you want to be and how you want to present this to the world. You're going to have enough experiences to understand what patience is. Like, some people think patience is like a torture device, when it's like, no, patience is there to actually help you succeed and move forward and stay on the path, because this next step, or the final step, kind of like, you have very little about emotion here, almost none of it. The only one you do have, it's saying like, get over it. And I think that is going to be very, very important to you. Of, like, I just heard, like, don't cry over spilled milk, which I think is perfect for PB&J. Not getting wrapped up in past failures, or who isn't there, or what hasn't worked out, which I don't suspect you're someone like that, but here's just a friendly reminder to not get caught up in that. If you're ever finding yourself kind of bored or something, and you're kind of like going back to that thought process, just remember that you have everything you need to succeed. You were gifted with a lot of natural talent. Like, it's just that energy of like gifts from your ancestors. Like, maybe you have aunts or uncles who are far more magical than you know, like great aunts and uncles and grandparents. Like, there's an element of like the fact that you have 2 magicians here, like, you're magic. You're in the void right now, which means you can create anything you want. Just embrace chaos, because out of chaos comes order. And I think you're going to really figure out what it is you are wanting to accomplish, which is cool, because you have open possibility. So those are your steps on how to become successful like Mr. Beast. So I wanted to select a quantum healing code for you. If you don't know what they are, they work like the placebo effect, and they connect with our universe and how it actually is made up of numbers. It's kind of like a computer. So when you write down these numbers, it helps you. So this code is to reveal our identity at the higher levels. Oh, this is perfect for you because I feel like you are trying to get to this higher level of truth and who you are. So write down these numbers. So it's all the spaces are very important. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, not digits, numbers. So the first number is 111. The second number is 4,823. The third number is 79,777. The fourth number is 420. And the fifth number is 1,111. So those are the numbers. This code will activate who you, I love that. I'm so happy this is the one you got because I really feel like your higher self is just wanting you to connect. And if you don't know what your higher self is basically, it's your soul. It's the part of you that is timeless and has existed since the beginning of time and to the end. It knows all, and it's you. So tap into that. You have all the answers inside of you. I actually really, really believe in your path and what you're doing. And so does Mr. Beast. He just wants you to follow your passions and work hard. So pile 3, that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found something that resonated. And if you did, I would love for you to give it a little thumbs up. And if you love this message, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my channel. This has been an absolute amazing journey. I think I'm almost to 300 subscribers. And to some people, that's a small number. But every subscriber is something. And I'm just really excited to see where this channel goes. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you in future readings. Have a great day. Hi, Pal 4. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, Mr. Beast is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, YouTuber. And he has started from the bottom, and now he's here. 166 million subscribers. He has captivated everybody, and truthfully, everyone wants to know how to succeed like him. So I wanted to help you find out today. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so you chose the sunflower. Good choice. First card is where you're at right now. And the next one is where you want to go. You have 2. So what I'm getting at is that with the thing, this is a card, sorry, like old makeup gets on here now. So the thing is all about kind of not just disputes, but agreements. Like it can be marriages or like legal things, but it's always, it really represents how the Vikings actually like agreed upon things with truly a handshake. Like their word meant everything. And I think you're in this place of kind of trying to figure out what is that next step? What is the next choice for you to make? Because these 2 cards together, like this is just saying all you're wanting to do is actually accept that in life we make mistakes. That's a hard one. I think you're wanting to get to that place where you're able to just give your all. I feel like you have been really trying to grow into this mature person, and I feel like you really know who you want to be, but I don't feel like you're there yet. I feel like you're still learning to embrace, like I said, your mistakes. You're learning to embrace that you have to sacrifice a lot of time for the things you want. Because the cards are kind of just saying like you're really struggling to make a decision on something. All the piles have kind of had that. It's kind of like, okay, you want to succeed big. you have to make a choice. You have to know which way you're going if you are going to succeed big. You know, I think that's what's really cool about Mr. Beast is he constantly changed his formula if it wasn't working. He was always willing to improve. And I think what's cool is you want to emulate that sort of energy. And I really respect that. You want to be that hardworking, driven person who's always going up and working towards the top of the mountains. Like, I think you're, I just hear the word immature, and that's not like, ooh, you're immature. Like, I think I've described this before, and you may not have heard this before, but maturity is not about like a good or bad thing. It's literally like a flower or like a rosebud. You don't judge the rosebud for not having fully bloomed yet because everything has its cycles. And so I think you're kind of in this rosebud form, and you're trying to know and figure out how to work through this. You know, yeah, there's just a little level of immaturity in the way of like, you may not be happy with your initial reactions to things, but you work through them eventually. But you're growing into such a patient person, and I'm really happy for you. Because you do have this sort of like desire to give back, and that's what I love is that Mr. Beast is a philanthropist, and this card is all about community and giving back. So I'm really happy to see that. I think you're just trying to figure out who you are and where you're going, and that's the best way to get to your destination, is constantly reflecting on everything you've done. So let's go ahead and look at some more cards. I asked what your unforeseen obstacle will be. There's a strong sense of needing to mature. And again, this is not rushing it. This is a chemical process, a order of time. But this will be the hardest part for you, because I feel like when Mr. Beast first started his channel, and I don't know if you've ever seen, but he will, in the past, he posted videos to himself in the future. And he did like 5 years, 10 years, like he set them in these increments. So like all of a sudden, you know, one day you'll go on and his channel will have uploaded a video of him looking like 16 years old on his like really crappy laptop camera. And he's just talking to his future self saying like, hey, I know you're going to already have like made so many more subscribers. You're going to be doing so good. Like he knew to remind himself that it's possible, and you just have to be patient. Like that was him. Like that's that energy of like, you're in this place of, you know who you want to be. But these cards are about self-sacrifice and working for the community. And so I really feel like that is somebody who you want to be, but it's kind of knowing the difference of, you want to get, Mr. Beast wanted money for sponsorships so he could give it away to other people, not so that he had more money. And I feel like you're kind of, the hard part will be the soul searching. The hard part will be being alone and going through this adventure on your own, because if you don't, like if you lean too much on somebody else, when you get to the point where you actually have obtained everything you were going after, it will be it'll weigh too much for you. You have to build up your strength on your own. So I asked how funny. Oh no, okay, that's not temperance. So this is your strength. I think the last pile had temperance here. So I was like, what? So maybe check out pile 3. Maybe you were drawn to pile 3 as well. If not, let's move on. Okay, cool. The temperance reversed. So this to me says that you actually, I'm so happy for you. You do understand when when things are not worth your time. Like, I know you want to become this like really giving big personality, and I think you have understood that you have to envision the mountaintops. You have to envision yourself there if you actually want it to come to fruition. I feel like you are very aware of when things are not beneficial for your soul. And I'm really happy because since your soul searching will be one of your biggest struggles, I'm really, really glad that you are aware of what is not good for that soul search. So, okay, so the next card is the overall theme for your step-by-step how to become big and successful like Mr. Beast. Oh, all right. So these are this is your overall theme. Okay, well now that's hilarious. I think this has happened in a couple other ones. Look at that. Because it's literally saying like, okay, wow. Wow. Okay, so I love it. The Hermit reversed. This is, so your step-by-step themes are, yes, the hardest thing for you will be being alone in this soul searching, but this here is like reiterating it. It's like, but that's what you have to do right now. And you have to either remove the things that are causing you to be inflexible, or if you've been too all over the place, it's kind of time to become more rigid. Like, no, this is what I want to do. Or if you've been really stubborn in the past, maybe it's time to start being like, maybe I'll look in a different direction. But yeah, your theme to how to become as successful as Mr. Beast is literally like, embrace that part of you. Like, to me, Mr. Beast like puts up with no bullshit. Like, I feel like, yeah, he seems like a really nice person, but nothing about him actually seems like overly warm. And I trust that so much more. I don't like when people seem fake. I'd rather it be like, oh, he looks like someone who you have to kind of like warm up to. I think you're going to kind of need to like take on that energy, the like no bullshit energy, because yeah, you're somebody, you want to give back. You want to be that kind of selfless person. And I think you're just kind of trying to figure out like what direction to go. But so I'm going to pull 6 cards, and they will be your step by step. So they can either represent like 6 months, 6 years. The timeline is kind of relevant for you. So, step 1. So, step 1. Find that adventure. Like, literally, like, Mr. Beast this shit. Like, he looked at his future and knew where he wanted to go. Like, pick the mountain you want to climb and head towards that direction. Yeah, and if you're able in any way to commit 100% of your time to this, honestly, that'll just make things happen so much faster. Yeah, be, I want to say prudent with your finances, and kind of keep things a little to your chest. Like, don't go around blabbing everything and talking about what you're starting. I think the most important part of what you're starting is to have some discrepancy. Is that the word? Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. Look at you, big boss with the money. Queen of Pentacles is such a nurturing card. So it's also such a secure card. Like, having this one right after this was just also about like financial security. Look at where your money's going. Look at your plan. See what you've been doing, and is it actually successfully taking you in the right direction? Is it taking you where you want to go? I think because, like, yeah, there's such an element of like a desire to do charity and give back, because the Five of Pentacles to me always kind of represents like not charity in the way that the Six of Pentacles does, but kind of like I always see people like, well, literally on the card, people are like out in the cold. So it's kind of that thing of like, I think, look around you and see if there's anything you haven't been considering. The fact that they're all pentacles is, yeah, I think there's some sort of, I think there's something you may not have considered before, something you hadn't looked at in that way. Something you may have been insecure to look at or try before. Once again, isolation. Usually the Eight of Swords is kind of more about like being a prisoner to your mind. So to me, what I'm getting is I think you will still be in a state of isolation by step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's just saying like, don't get lost in the sauce. Don't get overwhelmed by everything that's happening. Stay strong. You are extremely, extremely mentally strong. Like I really have enjoyed learning a lot about who Mr. Beast is, like Jimmy himself. Like his story is really, really beautiful. Like he actually overcame a lot. Like he has like Crohn's disease and has had to work through the shit that didn't work out for him. And this energy is just saying like, look at the things that are slowing you down, like any self-imposed restrictions, things that you actually kind of don't need anymore. I think to me, this is saying kind of like loosen up a little bit. Yeah, because the last, the King of Wands reversed. So this, as your last step, what I'm getting, it's a mixture of like warning and action of like, go hard, go strong, but don't be impulsive. Everything needs to have a plan. Everything needs to be sought out and considered of its outcome and its effect on you. It's saying don't have too high of expectations. Like one thing Mr. Beast talks about a lot is not needing to be perfect, but just improve. You're on a soul search. You are going to create something really beautiful and that gives back and takes care of people. Maybe that's kind of what the sunflower is. Like sunflowers are really beautiful, but the seeds that they grow are so nutritious for birds. And so it's kind of that thing of like, grow because you're beautiful and it will provide for people in ways you couldn't even imagine. I think you're going to be so much more valuable than you can comprehend right now, but I think it is everything you want to become. I'm really excited for you, Pile 4. Let me see. So I want to pull a quantum healing code, of course. To awaken to all things angelic. So quantum healing codes work with the universe how it is basically our universe is like a big computer, and so everything corresponds with numbers and codes. So if you write down these 3 numbers, it's written as one code. So 44, 44, 444. This will activate that sort of part of life that helps you start to see, I think, just the more angelic aspects of life, the things that can kind of help you feel better and give you more beauty and rain. And I think that that will help you a lot. So write that code down, envision that you will start seeing more synchronicities, more more of the universe handing you beautiful opportunities. And I think you'll really start to see where you're going to provide for your people. And so I'm really excited for you. So pile 4, that's where I'm going to leave it for you. I really hope you were able to find something that resonated. If you did, I would love for you to give a little thumbs up. That lets me know that I'm doing my job right. And if you loved it, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe and be a part of my channel. This has been such a wonderful journey, and I'm so grateful that you guys are participating and commenting. So just thank you for everything you're doing. I hope you guys have a great day. Bye.